Hey looters, Flutes here to talk today about Warlock feats, what I think the best ones are, and it's not very straightforward, so we're going to have a few different lists for you today on Flutes Loot. Alright, so how do you select feats for a Warlock? I decided to go a few different routes. Some Warlocks focus on weapon builds, some are all about Eldritch Blast, some are very spellcasting heavy, and then others are going to focus on their subclass features that can kind of tailor feats to those features for synergy. And the Warlock is obviously unique in that it's often used for multi-classing. I can't really account for that in every single way, so I'm going to stay pretty core to the Warlock and not like Hexblade one level dips and say you're a Warlock now, what feat do you want? So let's focus on Warlocks that are mainly Warlocks. So if you're a Warlock focusing on spellcasting, there's a few feats I think you could focus on that would complement what you can get in your spellcasting and your invocations. First is the Actor feat. The Mask of Many Faces invocations allows you to cast Disguise Self at will, which is pretty awesome because then you could just always change how you appear, and your Actor feat can give you advantage on your charisma checks to convince people you are who you are and they don't ever suspect a thing. Drow High Magic for drows only is another feat that could be very useful for you. Detect Magic, Levitate, and Dispel Magic are all primo spells to gain as a Warlock where you already don't have a lot of spells you can learn, and being able to cast them without a spell slot is really important. If you don't know, Warlocks have Pact Magic, so their spell slots are very limited, but they recharge on a short rest. So any other spell slots you can gain through feats just makes it so you don't burn out your spells in like 2 turns. Another thing a Warlock with spellcasting focus is going to enjoy is the Moderately Armored feat. If you're not going to multi-class to gain some armor and buff your AC, then taking this feat is great because you get shields and you get medium armor. And so that can give you a huge survivability boost. You also want to get Resilient for Constitution if you want to buff your Constitution saving throws for concentration. You don't want to lose concentration as a Warlock because, like I said, you don't have a lot of spell slots. You got to make sure those spells last. Telekinetic is another great feat for you. You can use your bonus action to shove people around, allies and enemies, to try to get them in a better position or force them into a hazard, sometimes multiple times around for those hazards, so you can get more mileage out of some of those spells. And then Warcaster is also a great option if you want to buff, again, those concentration saving throws. You can even pair it with Resilient Constitution, so you have proficiency in the Constitution saving throw, and you have advantage on the Constitution saving throw. If you took damage, not if you like get Sleet Stormed, obviously, no advantage there. But if you take damage and you have to do a save for your concentration, then you can have advantage. And casting spells as an opportunity attack is really nice. And then Shadow Touched is also great for spellcasting Warlocks because they can get Silent Image or Cause Fear, some great spells to boost what they can already do. And again, you get a use of that spell without needing a spell slot, or you can use it with your spell slots later. I did a video and an article about the Frightened effect if that's something you're more interested in, so you can check that out as well. Before I get further, there is an article to accompany this video. I already took the notes for you. It's all on flutesloot.com, where I and my wife Opal write a lot about D&D, as well as some other authors that have started writing with us to give some fresh takes on D&D. Alright, so let's say you're a Warlock who's focusing on melee weapons, probably a Pact with the Blade or something like that. First, I recommend getting Polearm Master, because you have some invocations to boost the damage and the number of attacks you get with your Pact weapon. As long as you're attacking with your Pact weapon, no matter in what way, like a Polearm's ability to do a bonus action attack, for example, you could add Life Drinker as a charisma damage boost to your weapon attacks. And so Polearm Master would allow you to get that one more time as a damage boost in addition to all your other dice and bonuses. And then if you pair Great Weapon Master with your Polearm Master, you can really up your damage. Attacking with a Polearm with up to 3 attacks as a Warlock, if you take the invocation to get an extra attack, and then your bonus action attack from Polearm Master, you could potentially getting up to 30 extra damage per round when you add in Great Weapon Master, assuming you're hitting after your accuracy drop. You can start to feel like a bit of a mad class if you're trying to build strength and charisma, if you're not a Hexblade, because you don't have to be a Hexblade to focus on melee. Keep that in mind if you want to be a different subclass that you might have to choose between strength and charisma, and so you might not do as many spellcasting options that involve saving throws or like Eldritch Blast adding your charisma damage, but you do want to be getting at least a good bit of charisma so you can get Life Drinker or whatever it's called to boost the damage of your Pact weapon. If you're an elf, you can also go for Elven Accuracy because that will help you mitigate the Great Weapon Master's -5 to hit. There's a lot of great ways you can get advantage as a Warlock, including like the Darkness spell, where you can get the Devil's Sight invocation, and so then you're the only one who can see within the darkness, and you have advantage to attack those that cannot see you as you're an unseen attacker. And then Elven Accuracy makes that super advantage, so you're rolling 3 times, all with -5 from your Great Weapon Master to try to hit, And then if just one of those hits, because it's super advantage, then you're in business and you're dealing a lot of damage. If you're a warlock focusing on Eldritch Blast, and that's really all you want to do, you're like Cyclops from the X-Men or something, you want to get Eldritch Adept and Fey Touched. Eldritch Adept allows you to get more invocations, and so you can spend a lot of invocations beefing up your Eldritch Blast, because there's a lot of them that do that, and then grab more invocations to do other stuff. Fey Touched will allow you to get Hex without needing a spell slot. So as your Pact Magic makes your spell slots higher and higher level, and it makes less and less sense to spend them on Hex, because it's only a level 1 spell, Fey Touched will allow you to get Hex and cast it without sacrificing those like level 5 Pact Magic slots. Plus you can boost your Charisma and get Misty Step. So it's a solid option to get Fey Touched if you're focusing on Eldritch Blast. Then we have Warlock subclass specific feats, which are feats I think really shine for certain subclasses, so I thought I'd bring them up in case you want to diversify a little bit your ideas and options. So if you're a Fiend, Celestial, Genie, Warlock, any of those three, then you might want to look at something like Flames of Phlegathos if you're a Tiefling, because it's a Tiefling racial feat. It's a great feat that can help you boost your fire damage output and wreath your body in flames, and you can use it to boost your charisma. Along with that is Infernal Constitution for your Tiefling, so that you can gain poison and cold damage resistances and boost your Constitution. Those are just great resistances to have, and I really like that feat, honestly. If I'm a Tiefling, I always think about taking it. For the Great Old One, Archfey, and Fathomless Warlocks, I didn't find that there was any specific feat that I thought lent to them that really like gave them something new or synergized with their subclasses more than any other feats I recommended, so I'll just point back to those. And for the Hexblade feats, I'll just point you back to the melee based ones that I mentioned earlier. Those are going to be really great for a Hexblade. Though you could also go for like Crossbow Expert and Sharpshooter for Hexblade stuff. Hexblade's nuts. So those are my top picks for Warlock feats. It's kind of all over the place, right? But so are Warlocks. They've got a lot of diverse skills and customization options. I really like that about Warlocks. Invocations are so cool. If I play a Warlock, that's one of the things I look forward to most, is just picking my invocations. So what did you think of my list? Is there anything you would change? Are there any feats you've really enjoyed on your Warlocks? Don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps out the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, that's all I can ask. Oh, but I can also ask that you have a good adventure this weekend. I'll see you later. Bye.